As well. And this is part of my personal campaign here. And I try to make all this beautiful. And if you should really, when you get back home, to Google Cuban posters, and you'll see the influence that it has had on my work. Now we're back to the logo, Reggae book. And Carolyn Cooper found me on the internet, as she said, and we started talking. She told me of the book, and I was really excited to participate in this project. And it's now become my favorite, as I told you. Very nice. I've done a series of posters that try to capture some of the original, the foundation and the pioneers of her music. Like, I grew up hearing my dad talking about some of these sound systems. And Tom the Great Sebastian is one of the big sounds from way back when. And this is my capture of Tom Wong, who's the man behind the sound system. And I was reading somewhere that Metro Media is actually the offspring of this sound system. And here are so many people. I went to listen to Metro Media, but I never knew this, and most Jamaicans don't know this. And so it's not Jamaicans' problem why people are not engaging and trying to find out. It's just that there's no museums that really captivate them and share this message with them. And that's why it's necessary. If you don't have museums that can connect with the universities and all this and do studies and try to keep certain things alive, you're going to lose it. And also, someone else is going to take it and do it. And how is Jamaica going to feel about this? Here again, we have dancehall music and sound systems and DJs. This is the man who's the first DJ. And I had to make a poster on it. And his name is Count Machuki from the 1950s, King Stitt followed. So here's a man that should be celebrated. And so there's very few images of him. It's very hard to find images of him. And there are recordings that you'll find, but not many as well. And so I thought that this was a very important imagery to really point to that. Jashaka, also from the United Kingdom, is well-known roots Rasta culture song, and he still play a sound system with only one turntable, and he travels all over Europe, and he plays only vinyl, strictly vinyl. And there's a whole following now of sound system that follows Jashaka's original sound system. And Jaka's sound system is what the sound system used to look like in the 1950s and 60s. And so I wanted to big up Jashaka, and Jashaka came to Rotterdam and signed the posters, and people were very excited about this poster as well. So my images is capturing Jamaican energy in a outside the box way. Jamaica's always had poster design, as you said. Wilfred Powell's posters now are touring in California. And that's a big move. I'm very happy. I'm sad that he's not around to see what is happening. Here's another one, which is Voice of the People, the original Prince Buster. It's a powerful story. So there's all these narratives that we can express and we can share. There's so many different artists that come out of Jamaica that the people around the world who are gravitating around and remember. There's a lot of people who know about our history, our musical history. So we need to do more of that here. This is Ted Buffalocus, and he came to Jamaica in the 1970s to make a documentary on reggae music. And when he came here, we met the artists, Leroy Smart, all those people, Horsemount, which is from Alpha Boy School. They turned it into a movie, and today it's one of the iconic films, historical document, because within that movie you're seeing all the artists that are now icons in this film in their youth. Most of them now passed away, Gregory Isaac and people like that. So I have to big him up, because he came to Jamaica in a rough time, and did this film. And he didn't make money from this. And I went to see him in Greece, and he lives in a small island, Andros, and he was really excited that I really came there to see him. And he's now energized, like, wow, I'm really happy. He's got some amazing photographs from the 1970s with all these artists. Now I'll touch again on the Alpha Boy School. This is one of the posters that I personally contributed to the exhibition. Part of the exhibition process was we had submissions from people around the world, but we also invited artists and designers, including Luba Lakova. She made a wicked poster of Sister Ignatius, which was part of the exhibition, and this was my exhibition contribution, and I gave this to the African School, and I don't know if I should say this, but tomorrow they'll be launching this as the official logo. No, Saturday, yes, on Saturday they're launching this as the official logo. And this is another from the series of Alpha posters. And now Alpha School is, as we know, it's a school for wayward boys. And again, it's a success story. So here's this institution in Jamaica that so many people of the world, around the world, have heard about and want to support, and the history is known of the great, this great thing that they're doing in terms of helping boys. This is a no-brainer. Why is it not being replicated? Why aren't they getting enough funds to help them to transform lives? So here's a picture of, I think it's the U.S. Marines coming to play with them. And they are amazing students. They can play from classical music to rocksteady to modern contemporary reggae. And here are some of the boys when we visited them last year. And this was the first time they were showing it to the students at the school. And here is Luba Lakova's poster. And Luba Lakova is a social poster designer. She's very huge, and she lives in New York. And when we approached her to do the poster, she was so happy to participate. And again, we use the story of Alpha. Most people, we tell them about the Alpha story. This is what they want to support, Alpha Boy School. And now I'll just kind of just flip through my reggae posters, so additional ones. And at this point, I have about maybe 200, so I kind of stopped counting. But it's over 200, My entire poster collection is probably about 500 posters. And I can see them, I can visualize them, and they come like very quickly. But I have to try to do them quickly, so they don't take me all of my life as if I have nothing else to do. But I try to really spend time with them. And this is one of them that tried to capture the 1960s, like the second wave of ska in the United Kingdom, where it became a very huge genre. After leaving with the immigrants and go to the United Kingdom, it became even part of the skinhead movement, which is a very strange story. And here are racists supporting and embracing ska music. It shows the power of Jamaican culture. And even today, skinheads wherever still listen to ska and play ska. And some of the biggest ska bands are white ska bands. And so there are hundreds of, probably thousands of ska bands around the world. And you can rarely find one in Jamaica, but outside of Jamaica, there are many ska bands. So our music is not old music, and I don't really like that term, old is music, because it says that these music are not really, they should be tucked away in some closet, and only special moments you play them. Ska music, rocksteady, dub, all these music should play alongside with contemporary dancehall and that, because you have to look at the big picture of reggae culture to realize where the power is. And one of the reasons Jamaica benefits very little from reggae because it only plays a certain segment of the music. In the United States, they make 14 billion a year. I saw that figure. I don't know if it's conservative or not, but 14 billion in earned from Jamaican music. And Jamaica only makes 0.5%. You have to ask the question, why is that? It's not because people take away the music, it's because we're only playing a certain part of the music. So our market is very limited. What if you go to California and Maui and Hawaii, you're listening to ska music and rock steady, and there are many bands are playing, and you're touring, and that's where the money is being made. Here's another one I made, try to capture the spirit of beat, of touch, and the energy. These are just others that I've made over a period, and I try to capture like from the old school dance, because I like to go back to the 1980s and 70s. Not because I don't care for what they're doing now. I mean, I really like dancehall now as well. But I need to go back and like draw from that energy because that's where it starts. I want to shine a light on that. Here, Bob Marley's, goes without saying, he's a top man. Slam Robbie. I tried to capture some of the reggae bubble movement, and I've linked it to Pinnacle. It's at the bottom. That's the one on the lower right. That's a story that needs to be told how well, and his connection to the Rastafari movement. A ballhead, who is a Rastaman, and the foundation man of the Rastafari movement. And here's a picking up Jashaka again. And Beat Street is really Orange Street. And if you're going to read about downtown Kingston, first you have to make Beat Street, which is Orange Street, where all the sound systems, Studio One, Thompson used to be. So I like to do that. And King Charlotte is one of the big sound systems in Europe. When I say big sound system, and big, and its roots a sound system. There are many others as well. And Stella Mars, people used to go to dance in the other day. Stella Mars was a big uptown sound, and we used to have some big dub plates, and monster dub plates. Phyllis Dillon is one of the females, heart. We don't see a lot of females too much in reggae depiction for whatever reason, but Phyllis Dillon is one of those. And here's another one to capture this kind of movement. There are others like Lee Scratch Perry's, this is a very important man in the music because some people consider him a madman in that way, but Lee Scratch Perry is one of the biggest stars in reggae music right now. I mean, he performed in New York City, I think, just after the celebration, but the commemoration of 9/11, and there was a line around the block in Times Square to see Lee Scratch Perry. Even if he stands on stage, and sometimes he will do that, not to do anything, and you look at the crowd, and it's all teenagers here. He's like God in Europe, electronic music, dubstep. Lee Scratch Perry is king. You could have an entire museum on Lee Scratch Perry. So here it might not be a big thing, but internationally Lee Scratch Perry is big. So we just have to embrace what we have and celebrate these figures because they're larger than life. And I try to capture also the digital movement, King Jam sound system, we introduce the drum machine, create new rhythms in the late 1980s. And U-Roy, of course, iconic figure, Camp, and he's still touring, he's still huge. Now I'll just kind of, again, show some solidarity posters, kind of connect to the political area. So, everybody remember the Tivoli Gardens incidents. And this is one where I also took the decision to start making posters on it. Not that I didn't believe that something should be done about the situation, but the way it was done, it's just not right. It's not hard for me to pick sides, because when you have a military, for example, attacking a community in any country, you don't do that. You don't need that. There's other ways to fight crime, because obviously it's not solving the problem, because those operations have been going on since the 1960s, as far as I'm concerned. It's not good. And so there needs to be an investigation, and so this is one of the posters that I've created. And here's another one. And these drew a lot of attention, both internationally and locally. People commenting, expressing themselves. Some didn't like it, but people are usually very civil about it, and I don't mind criticism, but majority of the people understood, look, something went wrong here, and it needs to be addressed. And I Am Tivoli is another one which try to capture the innocence of children, because there were children there, there were old people. And whatever community you live in, if the police want to catch one guy, and they cordon off your community and make everybody in the community now guilty, because you could be killed, and many were killed, yet they weren't participating in any action against the military. And so, because the military and their soldiers, they were created to fight wars, not fight communities. Malela, I don't know if you know the story. This is a young lady who wanted to build school for young girls in Afghanistan, and the Taliban shot her in her head. They wanted to get rid of her. She's only like 14 years of age. And I thought she was a brave girl, you know, and she survived, and she went back to Pakistan, and she's doing the same thing. And here's a number of other posters which I've touched on. Ai Weiwei is a very famous Chinese artist, and you know, he gets into the skin of the Chinese government, and from time to time, and he was arrested, and he's since been released, but there's still issues. But he's one of those artists who really talk about social issues, you know, corruption and all that kind of thing. The poster in red is a man by the name of Demetrius, who in Greece, who went before Parliament and committed suicide, shot himself in the head, because he just couldn't take any more of this austerity thing imposed. And one of the reasons I created this poster was because when you listen to the analysts talk on television about what's going on in Greece, there's always this thing of it's just numbers, you know. Greek just as justice numbers. And things will be right. But there are people on the ground eating out of garbage in a first world country, because their life have been really destroyed, middle class people. And so I want to show the human, how the human life is now upside down, while outsiders are trying to readjust things in their lives. Africa, you know, the issues of poverty and others. Stop the Violence, Africa, on the immigrants, there's a big problem in Europe of African migrants, you know, flooding all over Europe, and they're not treated very well in a lot of places. And the problem is, you know, some of it is back home, the idea that the streets are paved in gold, but when they reach to these destinations, their lives is worse, you know, it's like hell. Peace, I am poor, talks about, you know, we're human, because a lot of times poor people are not treated as humans. They're stigmatized and they're branded almost like cockroaches, they're pests, and sometimes that happens, but I want to remind people, and on the top with the face, that one I created for the Japan earthquake. And here again are more posters, one from Freestylee, poster capturing all the problems that we're facing and why we need to speak out. Issues like that, silence, zero silence. Because people don't want to speak out on issues, they're afraid. And so we wanted to capture that, what took place in South Africa with the miners. And these guys were just trying to get a better standard of living, a little higher wages. And they were corralled and shot. But when you watch the television program, you get the impression that they were attacking the police with spears, which was really not true. So I really kind of come to the close of this. I hope you will enjoy this little presentation that I gave here. And I want to again thank you very much.